Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you are coming back, thank you so much, you're the best. My name is Manon, I'm a programmer, horsey girl and a knitter, and I'm coming to you from the very south of the Netherlands. Let's dive in. Let's start with a finished object, which is what I'm wearing. This is the champagne cardigan and it's sort of half a finished object really because I haven't blocked it yet. So I'm going to show it to you and we can have a bit of a talk about that. I will show it to you in the next podcast once it's blocked, and then we can compare how it blocked out to today. So I finished this last week and I've had a really busy work week and also a competition weekend with the horses. So the only thing I've managed to do in that time is sew on the buttons. Find the buttons first, which was a thing in itself, and then sew them on, and I'm pretty happy. I bought these buttons quite a long time ago. I can't remember where I bought them from, but I like the look of them. I'll stand up so you can see the entire finished project, and then we'll talk about what I did. I did a few modifications, not a lot really, how it turned out, and that will be that, because we will talk about how it blocked out next time. Okay, let me stand up and show it to you. This is a bit awkward with the slanting roof here. I can't, it's not perfect. Or I have to go like this. Okay, I'm gonna do squats for you. But here it goes. And let me button it up for you so that you can see it like that too. So there we go. My dog is sitting right here and he's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing, human? But there we go. Nice long sleeves with just the fingers poking out. Okay, let's talk about this one. So the champagne cardigan is designed by Petiteknit. I knitted size S. I was pretty much on gauge with this is Hobbii Friends Wool, so it's a very simple non-super wash 100% wool yarn, and it's paired with the mohair from Drops, so it's the kid silk mohair. The wool is in colory ivory. I think I've said cream before in my very first episode when I introduced this project. I'm sorry. It's... oh no, is it? No, it's a different yarn. So this is cream, in fact. Sorry. That is correct. And then the mohair is champagne. And it creates... I don't know if it's going to show, but just a little tiny bit of marling, and that was what I was going for. So that is the yarn, and then construction. I've talked about this before, so very short. You start at the back. Do you do short rows? Yeah, you do German short rows, and then it's like basically a raglan construction where you increase in the front and in the back. You don't do the butt. I just touched my mic. I hope it didn't make a horrible sound. If it did, I'm so sorry. But you don't do the bottom band at the same time. Once you've done the entire body and on the sleeves, you pick up stitches all along the cardigan, and then you do the double knitted bottom band, and then you do these very nice buttonholes that, because they're like this, like they're horizontal, not horizontal, they're vertical, you don't see them too much. They don't gape or anything, so I really like that. The tutorial for how to do that is on Petiteknit's website. It's a free to access video by Kimmy Munkholm. So if you're making a cardigan at the moment and you would like to do a button band like this, you can just find a tutorial. You don't need to buy the pattern or anything. So that is a great thing. Then before I talk to you about modifications, I'm going to talk to you about cost. And I've got that in my nerdy spreadsheet over here, so I'm going to look a little bit over there while I tell you that. So I used 12 balls of the Hobbii Friends Wool, and they were $2.25 a piece, and 6 balls of the mohair, which was $3.55. That was bought at a discount, so usually both of them are a little bit more expensive, but if you know Hobbii, they have lots of promotions all the time, so just wait for one of those and then buy a yarn. Drops, I think it was the end of the winter sort of promotion when all the winter yarns are on offer. And I even recorded the start date and the end date, so I started this at the start of May and I finished so basically last week, and so there was 44 days that this lovely project was on the needles. I've worked on 2 things at sort of the same time, my Agnete cardigan and the Amy Slipover, but mostly on this. So there must have, in those 44 days, there must be a few days where I didn't work on this, but there's not that many because this is knit on 4.5mm needles and it knits away really, really fast. It's simple stockinette, there's no weird things happening. The hardest thing is the German short rows, the increases. I mean, it's not rocket science. So yes, it's really amazing. So yeah, definitely would recommend this if you like something that would knit up pretty easily, pretty fast, and it's lovely. I love the shape, but it's quite oversized. There's quite a lot of positive ease, and I'm even wondering if I could have gone down one size. I mean, this is size S. I'm usually in between S or M, depending on the model or the designer. But in this case, I'm wondering if I could even have gone down a size. But I mean, I love how it looks, but I think a size smaller would still look good too. So if you want something a little bit more fitting, you could definitely go for that. Modifications. Oh no, wait. I've told you how much I paid per ball, but not the total cost. Bloody hell, I'm an idiot. So the pattern costs $6.70 from Petiteknit, just from the website. I think it's the same price on Ravelry, and so the total cost for this cardigan is exactly €55. So getting like a custom fitted cardigan that also gave me hours and hours of knitting pleasure, it's really not bad. I mean, the wool was pretty cheap. I will report back in a couple months after having worn this how it holds up, if it pills or anything, so we will see about that, to be continued. Then for modifications, I've talked about this before, so the ribbing at the bottom, I just did normal ribbing, and that's one thing I regret a little bit because I hope when it blocks out it will look very even. For now it's not perfect. And the sleeves, I did half twisted ribbing and I love the way it looks. It's just very, very neat. There's definitely enough space in it to do that because I also decreased an extra round. So you're supposed to do, at least in my size, you're supposed to do 10 decreases all over, like starting from the top all the way down to the sleeves, and I did an extra one, and I still have plenty up here, but it's not too much, it's not too little. I can still like put it up like this and it won't roll down my arm. I've worn this inside already a day or two, even though I didn't block it, but it was way too nice. So that is one modification I did. The other one is you're supposed to do 2 knit two togethers for the decreases, but I wanted them to be mirrored, so I did 1 knit together and 1 SSK. It's a very little thing. You probably won't notice it. One thing I just did notice is that I forgot to do 1 decrease right there. And that is the reason that I had to knit 2 together when I got to the ribbing, because it was not the right number of stitches, which I didn't have that problem for the first sleeve I knitted, and then I got to the second one, I was like, what is this other stitch doing there? But yeah, I just found out where that happened. It's here, it's right here, it's missing. I don't know if I will be able to show it to you, but this is how it's supposed to look. there. So there's one SSK there, and there's one knit together there. And then lower down, wait, I need to have a look at it. There's only the SSK, and there's nothing here. Let me put it a bit more in the middle. Hope it focuses. Yeah. So yeah, I'm missing one there, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's one stitch in an entire sleeve, so too bad. I don't think I did any other modifications. I mean, I did the sleeves pretty long, but Petiteknit tells you can make them extra long if you want to, like past the decreases that are in the pattern. So it's not like that is a very big change in the pattern. I did the body a bit longer than the sample, but I mean, those are not very weird special things. Overall, this is a really enjoyable project. So I can't wait to see it blocked. I hope it doesn't grow too much, but this is not superwash or anything, so it shouldn't be too bad. But see you next week or in 2 weeks when I have finally blocked it. I've got one more competition weekend this weekend, and then I've got basically a month off. So we'll see. Then moving on to whips and what is on the needles at the moment. I've got only 2 things. One of them is the Agnete cardigan, but I have not even touched it since the last time I talked about it. So too bad, I'm not going to talk about it because there's no progress. The other one is the Amy Slipover, and I did make quite a bit of progress. Then I went a bit back because I frogged part of it, because I realised I had made a mistake, and I'm not back all the way to where I was before. But let me get it to show it to you. And I have to get the ball of yarn because otherwise it's not going to work. So, Amy Slipover, patterned by Sandnes Garn. And here we are. So, since the last podcast, which was my very first episode, I finished the back. I did the ribbing at the back. Then I picked up the right and the left side, and I even got to the part where in this dark colour you can't even see it. This is great. There we go. And joined in the front. There we go. So I had gotten all the way down to the armhole and had started increasing for the armhole until I realised that I had done the increases in the front. I really didn't like the way it looked. So according to the pattern, you're supposed to do them on the edge side, and I had done increases to the right where I should have done one on the left, and the other way around for the other side. At least I was consistent. But because they were on this side, I mean, doing them the wrong way around did not help, but also because they were on the edge, it made the edge sort of like move outwards instead of making this part like the what is going to be the neck edge move towards the center. And so the whole knitting was like going like that, and I really didn't like that. And at first I saw it when I knitted it, and I thought, oh no, but it will like pull to the center once I what's it called, join in the front, so it will be fine, and it looks great the way it looks, so it will be fine. And I joined in the middle, and I was still not sure, and I thought, oh, if there's extra fabric it will pull it down, it will work. And then I got to the armholes, started increases for the armholes, and then this Monday morning I was knitting on the train, and I looked at it and I realised this is not going to work, and it's going to be one of those things that I really notice and I really don't like. So got to the office and I was early, so I unravelled and had to explain to a couple of colleagues why I was doing that. But so now I've got this sort of in-between ball that is on one side connected to the mohair and the merino ball, and on the other side is connected to this. And so this is how much I think I've re-knitted, about 1/3 of it already, but I still have to reknit all of this to get back to where I was. So yeah, that's a bit of a sad story, but it's important to do it so that I will enjoy the rest of this in the future. So now I've actually redone it and changed from what is in the pattern. So the pattern said to do it on the outside, and I've actually done it on the inside because I'm adding rows here, and well, not rows because rows are horizontal, but I'm adding more stitches to create more fabric in the front. So to me it made a lot more sense to just do it along the edge. And also I really like this detail in knitting when you have a jumper, or I touched my mic again, I'm sorry, I hope it's not too bad, but when you have a jumper, sweater, whatever it is that has a neck, and then you have those very small little bands of knitting that go along the neck and stitches are increased like from those. I don't know, it's a very small thing, but I really like how it looks, and so that's what I did for this. I don't know if it's visible because this is such a dark colour, and I don't know if it will focus. Yeah, I think you can sort of see it, but yeah, that's what it is. I think once there's a bit more fabric, I think it will be visible, and especially with the collar. But yeah, so that's one thing I did change, and I already really like the look of it. I need to knit quite a bit more fabric now to get to the armholes again, but we'll get there. I mean, this is 3.5mm needles, so it's not the fastest, it's not the slowest either, it's not too bad. One more thing that I'm not sure about. So I did finish the back, and then you do 2x2 ribbing, and then you bind off. And the pattern says to, on the last row that you do, to switch from 2x2 ribbing to 1x1 ribbing so that you can do an Italian cast off. Bind off, sorry. Which is what I did. And it's just not the neatest. Is it terrible? No. Is it fantastic? No. I'm just... It's one thing. I mean, I even already like got rid of... I didn't even know where the edges that I did last, but I know there's other ways of doing this, so I'm not going to redo it straight away. My plan is to get the front panel done, then try one of those other methods, and if I really like the look of it, if it's a lot neater and it keeps on doing 2x2 until the end, then I will unpick the last 2 rows of this and redo it, because I'm just it's just not, it's in the back so no one will ever notice, but I will know. And if you put all this effort into knitting something, you might as well do it really well. So yeah, to be continued this, but it's actually, I've not casted on any other projects because I thought let's get a bit of work done on this one so I can hopefully finish it or have it almost finished. No, I'm lying to myself. I'm not going to finish this before I cast anything else on because I've got too many other plans, but at least make a bit of headway on this one. So let me put that away and I will talk about those plans. I'm already smiling to myself, thinking of the other plans, which is a good thing and a bad thing. This is why I'm very good at starting new things and not so good at finishing stuff. And I have a feeling there's lots of people in the knitting community that have this exact problem. Let me know in the comments if that is you as well. We can start a little club that is quickly going to grow, I think. Yeah, basically the next updates are what is next in line to do. And in my very first episode, I talked about a gift knit I was going to make. That I was going to make the late summer wrap by Knitting for Olive for my mum. My mum has thought about this and the plan has been scrapped because she has decided that she doesn't want that one after all. But she doesn't know what else she wants. So we're back to square one. She's seen this cardigan and she really liked it. She tried it on and she liked it a lot. So I have a sneaky feeling that I might be knitting another one of these. But I basically sort of gave her a tiny bit of homework. I just told her, like, okay, just go home and think about, do you want a sweater or do you want a cardigan? And then let me know which one it will be. And then I'll send you some images of patterns and we'll just see what you gravitate towards, and then we'll narrow it down, and eventually we'll find the right pattern for what you want, and only then will we pick a colour, and then we'll pick the right material for that. So yeah, that is not going to happen. Thankfully, I didn't buy the pattern yet. I usually wait to buy a pattern until I'm almost ready to start the project, or I need the pattern for a swatch. So for a lace chart or something like that, I will need to buy the pattern in order to see if I can meet gauge with the yarn, so I can order it and then start the pattern. This has actually happened for the Orchid Bloom pullover, which I did say I was going to make a second swatch on bigger needles to make sure that I was not going to knit something that was going to be way too small around the yoke. I've not done that yet. As I said, busy week, haven't had time, but that is still very much a plan. So I've got that yarn in my project bag that goes with me everywhere where I might have time to knit. So maybe you remember I talked about this beautiful lace camisole by Cézanne that I'd seen on their website. So this is just a clothing brand, it's not the pattern. And I looked on Ravelry for a pattern that would look like that, and maybe it exists, but then it's not marked well enough in the categories, so I couldn't find one at least. And so I was going to freewheel. I was just going to try and see if I could make something that was going to work, but I actually don't have to do that anymore. I found a pattern that looks almost exactly like the camisole on the Cézanne website. I was looking through the Ravelry page for the new patterns, and I stumbled upon the Hawaï top by Chandails and Cardigan. So the designer name is Anaïs Laurent, and she's done a really beautiful job. It doesn't have a lot of projects yet on Ravelry, but that is a shame because it looks really beautiful. It looks beautiful on the projects that have been finished by the testers for this pattern. The pattern is in French but also translated to English. Careful if you don't download it through her website. So you can't download it through her website, you buy it and then she sends it to you by hand, so it might take a little bit of time. She was really quick for me, but just don't think that something went wrong. She will send it to you by hand. And I think I had bought the English pattern, but I got the French one, which in my case is not too bad. I mean, French is my native language, so it's okay, but I had to learn a few French terms that I only knew in English for knitting. But yeah, so if you buy it through her website, that might happen. I think on Ravelry it's probably the English pattern, so you will be fine. I'll put a link for both her website and Ravelry in the description, just in case you are French and you do want a French pattern, then this is great. Also, if you want to support designers a little bit more, I try to buy patterns through their own websites, because then they don't have to pay a commission to Ravelry, which you could also say you want to support Ravelry, so you want to do it that way. But up to you. You can do either or both. No, don't do both, because then you will have to buy the pattern twice. That's not very smart. Do either. Anyway, the pattern costs €7.70. However, because this is a new release, she had a discount code that was advertised both on her website. No, just on Ravelry, I think. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen and in the description. It's valid until the 2nd of August, so it's not a very long time from when this video will be released. So I'm planning to release this on Friday at 5 PM, as usual. And the discount code is until Sunday. I don't know if that includes the Sunday or not. I hope it does. But then you get a 10% discount, which is nice. I mean, you can spend that money on something else. So anyway, lace camisole knitted from the bottom up. It has, I think, 14 sizes, so plenty for everyone. The design on the Cézanne website has bubbles, and I was always planning to omit those because I'm not really a fan of bubbles on knitting. I don't know what it is, but it feels Christmassy to me. So if I ever knit a Christmas jumper, I'll do lots of bubbles, but until then, no thank you. Anyway, this one doesn't, so it's perfect. So it's all knitted, and it has like a little ribbed edge at the bottom, which translates beautifully into the lace. I'll put a picture up of how she did that. There's only one picture of the back where you can see it, and it's just mastery. It's absolutely beautiful. And then you do the front to the bottom band in crochet, so that's like a little loop and then a little, what would you call that, like little feather lace pattern, and then it's another loop, and then you continue like that. And then on the other side it doesn't have loops because it will have a button sewn onto it. And I think the button is actually, it's not sewed on. I think you make those, you crochet the button, so it's the same yarn and everything, so it's not in your face. You could technically sew on a button if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And then the bands are I-cords, but there's also an option to do those in crochet if you want like a little crochet motif. Is it motif? Maybe not. Pattern. I don't know how you call it. Anyway, little shapes instead of just an I-cord. And then all across the front and the back is a little crochet edge as well. So it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be absolutely beautiful. If I remember correctly, it's knit on 3mm needles, and it's worked with just fingering weight yarn. I hope I get gauge. We'll see. I've not done that yet, but it's one of the things that I would like to do this week, is cast this on, because it's absolutely lovely. And then the last next in line thing that I have at the moment, well, it's not quite true, but yeah, the last thing that I talked to you about last time that has an update is I was going to make this summer tee in a beautiful alpaca yarn that is hand dyed from Tôt le Matin, and I was going to make it using a pattern that I already have from Petiteknit, but changing it to have this little lace motif on it, and I saw something else and I want to make it with that yarn. So it's also a tee, and it's also got lots of lace on it, but it's amazing. It's not been released yet, so I don't have a name for it yet. It's in the macrame collection of Rachel Ilsley from Unwind Knitting, and she has beautiful patterns, and I've got another one on my list that I will talk in just a bit about. But it's all these bands of beautiful lace, and she's got lots of different ones. There's some of them I've never even seen before. It's really, really gorgeous. So I can't wait to do that one. It's knitted in, so the sample that she showed on Instagram is knitted in an alpaca silk yarn as well. And what I have is alpaca silk and 10% cashmere. So I think it's going to be perfect, and it should show the lace beautifully. It's knitted, did I see needle sizes? No, I haven't seen needle size yet, but it is fingering weight, so I hope I will get gauge as well. We will see. She usually makes stuff in with pretty small needles, but that's okay. It's only a t-shirt. We don't have to do entire sleeves. It can be a little bit cropped as well, not too cropped, but it doesn't have to be a very long project either. So that is what I'm really looking forward. As soon as that one comes out, I would like to cast it on. I've sent her a message to ask when it will be released, but I haven't had an answer. But if it has been released before I put out this video, which is in 2 days, so I mean, you never know, to let you know. And then I forgot one more thing that was added to my list, but this is a bit of a long-term-ish thing, is it was my brother's birthday, and I didn't have any presents ready for him. I did what I usually do. I called him for his birthday and asked, oh, what would you like for your birthday this year? And he really didn't know. He's getting to the age where you've got all the things really kind of that you need. But I had an idea in mind. I was like, I'm not going to knit another sweater for someone this year because there's already going to be the project for my mum. I want to at some point also knit something for my husband. And I've never knitted socks, and I thought maybe would you like socks, because he lives in München in Germany, and they have this whole beautiful outfit for Oktoberfest that includes beautiful, very detailed socks. So of course I'm going to start with socks that are very hard. I mean, this makes total sense. But he doesn't have the socks yet, as far as I know. He's got the rest of the outfit. I mean, his girlfriend that is from there really got him to commit to the whole thing, and the pictures look amazing because they look really nice together like that. I won't put a photo on because privacy, etc. But he needs socks, and I can now knit, or I should be able to knit socks, we'll see. So anyway, that is going to be a project at some point. However, I am still looking for the right pattern. I've looked on Ravelry, I can't find a pattern of the right socks, so it needs to be, well, Bayerish socks, something that, you know, has those elements. So it's like cables or like mock cables or crosses. So quite a lot of detailing going on, but they have to be knee high. They have to have the ribbing at the top, which is something I can do regardless of a pattern. But they need to hold on pretty well because he's got kind of skinny legs. He used to work out a lot, but only the top of his body and not really the legs. Or he used to do the legs as well, but he got into a bad accident and then never really did the legs, or the muscle would not go back on the legs. So we used to make fun of him that he was very big on the top and really tiny and dweeby on the bottom. Anyway, sorry Coco if you see this. It's funny. Anyway, so that's one of the things that I have to be careful with the socks, that there can't be too much calf shaping, but it will need a little bit of it, or it will need to be stretchy enough that it will work. So I'm thinking of knitting this in like a merino nylon blend. I want to get something that is a nice green. Might maybe dye this myself. I don't know, crazy plans, who knows. But the pattern is important. If you've got any good sock patterns that would work with this, so for beautiful detailing on like the calf and the ankle of the sock, it doesn't need to go all the way into the shoe. It's nice if it does, it doesn't have to. Let's not make my life even more difficult. But I'm all ears, so it needs to be big enough for men, but the calf doesn't have to be very, very big. So yeah, any input is very, very welcome. Let's see if we can find a pattern. And if I do find something that is good, then I'll let you know. I found one that looks really nice from Norman from Nimble Needles. He's got a free pattern on his website. All you have to do is subscribe to his newsletter. And it's a really, really nice sock, but it's an ankle sock and I need knee high. So yeah, any input, very welcome. So that's it for future projects that I might cast on soon. Not the socks, I'm not going to cast on that anytime soon, but the other two. And I do have one acquisition, which is quite a big one. Let me get it. It's in a paper bag, so it's going to make some noise. I hope it's not too bad. But long live paper bags instead of plastic ones. So kudos to Knitting for Olive. I got 2 sweater quantities of yarn because I saw this absolutely amazing sweater by Rachel Ilsley, Unwind Knitting, once again. It had been in my Ravelry patterns that I saved for quite some time, like in my favourites. And I had a look through there some weeks ago, and I don't know, something happened. It clicked and just looked at that pullover and went like, it's absolutely amazing. This is what I need to cast on. However, I want to make it in a fairly neutral colour. Yes, it's a bit boring, I'm sorry, but I want to be able to wear it with everything, for anything, any event or any occasion. And I like the sample, but I wanted something a little bit warmer. And so I had a look on Knitting for Olive, and I couldn't quite decide between 2 options, which might become 4 options. Let me show you what I got. Wait, this is going to make some noise, so hang on. Just get one of each out and then I can show it to you. Forgot I got this one, but I don't. I got one ball of merino and pomegranate because I keep looking at that colour online and I want to see what it looked like in real life. It's a bit more orangey than I thought, but it's not too bad. I'm not sure I want to knit a sweater in this. It's too orangey, so I'm glad that I ordered it because now I do know about it. Yeah, it might become a hat or a scarf. We'll see. Or like in stripes. Anyway. One more. There we go. Okay. Enough of the paper bag. So I got 2 different merinos and 2 different mohairs. This is wheat, this is trench coat, this is trench coat once again, and dusty honey. And so I said I wanted something a little bit, not just beige, a little bit warmer colour-wise. And so I was hesitating. I saw there's all the samples of Knitting for Olives on their Instagram. They're not on their website yet. They keep saying they're going to put them there, but it's not there yet. And I was really, first I wanted to do this combo. Because I thought this is going to be a little bit warmer than just beige and it's going to be very nice. And then I wondered, yeah, but isn't it just a little bit boring? What if I do something a little bit more yellow? But is this going to be too yellow? So what if I pair the trench coat merino with this? Is this not going to be a little bit better? I mean, it's a little bit, it's almost golden, but gold kind of looks good on me, so why not? So yeah, now I've got these. And I think I made the right choice with this. But I will swatch with both of them because that is always a better way to decide, because it will look different once it's knitted than 2 balls next to one another, because it might also work really well like this. This might be like a light gold that is absolutely amazing. And if I end up doing that, then I will have like a pure trench coat pairing to do something else with. So that's why I got 2 sweater quantities instead of getting just test skeins basically. I decided I will use this anyway. These are very simple, basic colours, not basic, classic colours. I will use them anyway at some point. This is a very bad excuse to get more yarn. I do realise that. But yeah, there we go. So I think it will become this one. It might become this one in the middle, but we'll see. So to be continued. I really love it. I saw it in the bag. I was like, oh, knit some swatches. I know what my gauge is in Knitting for Olive, so I don't need to swatch for how big or for what my gauge is for the sweater. I do need to check for the lace part, not the stockinette part. So I might try this in the lace motif straight away. So we'll report back. I will probably post on Instagram before that. So if you do want to stay like a bit on top of this, then you can follow me on Instagram. It's Yarn at the Barn with dots in between, because Yarn at the Barn in one word was already taken. So yeah, maybe see you there. And otherwise, I will keep on updating you in the next podcast episode. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Don't forget to let me know what is on your needles. I always really like to read that. Also, a couple questions. So if you have a good sock pattern for Oktoberfest socks for men, I'm all ears. If you have a good method for binding off 2x2 rib that has worked really well for you, also really, really welcome. And I had one more thing. What was it? Damn it, I forgot what it was. I think I asked you one more thing and I already forgot. My memory is getting worse and worse by the years. about a month even. It's scary. Anyway. I already have the grandma hobby, now I have the grandma memory as well. So who cares? So yeah, there we go. Hope to see you next time and have a lovely knitting time in the meantime. Bye.